saw
So,
that yesterday.
right. So clearly, I mean, you learn so much at that university. Give me one lesson, either about that university or I'd say the culture, because I'm equating that to my university, which is Baylor, right? And I feel like I learned so much at that place. Is there something that sticks with you many years after graduating?
Uh, yeah, I mean, Clemson was not an easy school for sure to go to, but I mean, I learned a lot. It challenged me. There were times I didn't want to be there, to be honest with you, just because my coursework and my load was intense, and I also cheered at Clemson, so I was like always on the go, always having to multitask. But I mean, I think that that is one of the big takeaways from me doing and handling everything I do now is that I'm always being pulled in different directions, but I have a better understanding on how to handle it without getting overwhelmed and, just overreacting or reacting at all in situations such as, that could be intense. So it
Yes.
taught me a lot of patience for
Patience.
sure, and how to
Yep.
handle conflict from different scenarios, from different individuals, and different like groups. And the entertainment business definitely has helped. I just feel like that's a very weird business to explain to people if you've never been in it.
Yes.
But I mean, I tell people all the time, people always say that real estate's hard. I think I'm fine. I think real estate's pretty easy for me just because I'm so used to handling all those personalities and different scenarios every minute of the day from the entertainment business. So I
Right.
mean, it's actually a calm environment for me now.
I love that. Well, again, if you can hear me, and again, I apologize because this isn't typical at all. Now, again, I think your resume is so non-linear, is what I describe it. I mean, you've been in event planning, accounting, the Hollywood thing, and now in real estate. What's one skill from each that quietly shows up every real estate transaction, and yet no client notices it at all? Is there something you can point your finger to?
They never notice what they do not see. And I feel like that is where we work the hardest, that people don't understand that's not in this business. Most of the work that we do, majority of it, I would say 90% is happening not in front of people. Handling those deals, doing everything prior to being in that place, almost about to close on that deal. It has taken a lot. And some things, we can't discuss, we can't talk about, and we try to be proactive to get done. So definitely wish that more people could get more behind the scenes, so to speak, on what all goes into putting a deal together instead of just seeing, the sweet spots, what they think is, the selling sunsets and all of that.
Right, right. I love that. Okay, so let's stay on this Hollywood track. Okay, if Hollywood was making say a movie about the life of a realtor, first of all, who would play you
I
first?
have no idea. I've never thought about that. I think I would have to play myself.
There you go. I love it. Okay, now tell me what's one scene that Hollywood would get completely wrong about this industry, and then what's the one scene that actually defines exactly, what this business is all about?
Reality. People are people at the end of the day. Everyone is trying to be validated no matter what the situation is. And no matter how much money you do and you do not have, the goal is still the same, especially when you're buying a home. The process does not change because you have money. I think a lot of people do get that completely confused and just not present in those moments. But being famous does not mean that you can afford a better house or have an easier way out than someone who, is not in the spotlight.
I love that. But again, I think you just highlighted the difference between those who have money and those who don't. And again, the goal is the same. It's ownership. It's a home, right? And when we start treating, and I'm sure you've encountered this because I do it all day, every day. I have people think they can't refer me a piece of business because they think that I only work in the luxury sector, or someone buying a two or $300,000 home is somehow beneath me. And I'm like, I'm offended when I hear that, because I'm like, that is bull. I love helping everybody. If you have a want and a need, then I want to serve it, period, regardless of the price point. So I know you feel the same way.
Absolutely. I'm a calm and collective person, and I'm also just blessed to be a people's person. So, I mean, I work with every budget, even people who are not ready or people who think that, owning anything is impossible for them. Like, it all takes a discussion. And just because you have money does not mean that you have perfect credit and vice versa. So,
I,
I tell people to really focus on you and the situation that you're in. Don't focus on the problem. I feel like a lot of people let their minds keep them from moving forward just because they always are stuck on that one thing that's keeping them from doing what they need to do. Like if you have bad credit, okay, well, let's do something to fix it.
hmm
Same thing about, money. People always say they don't have enough money. Well, let's do something that's going to make you more. So I feel like if people just looked ahead and be more optimistic about everything, then more doors would open.
I love that. I love it. What there's so many, and I don't really agree with this, but I think there's so many of us today that we simply we celebrate the closing date. I see people passing keys and popping bottles and that kind of stuff. Uh, what's one moment for you during the transaction that no one notices, but I believe is where trust is actually won or lost?
Um, Positive or negative?
Either. Yeah, either.
Well, I had a 20-year-old. She purchased her first home and she had a boyfriend, and clearly he didn't, everything was against her, from him. The idea of her purchasing a home was just bizarre to him. It was a
Hmm.
waste of time. She was too young. The market was this and that. And, I had to pull her to a side because I mean, at the end of the day, she's my client. I don't
hmm
have anything to do with him, but at the same time, I'm going to give her that respect just because they're together. But I pulled her aside and I asked her, this is this what you want? Do you want to do this? And she told me yes. And those are usually very hard conversations and awkward conversations to have with people. But I mean, you just have to know the intention, because everything else that comes in between that really doesn't matter if you know what the person is striving to do. So, that closing was pretty special, although, it wasn't celebrated as normally as I usually see couples celebrate together just because he felt like he wasn't part of the deal. He did
hmm
something that, was he didn't do, wasn't involved. And, that was just a big overcast to him. But, I was able to celebrate her in a moment that we understood because, she did something that she thought was impossible just from word of mouth and everything that she was verbally being told from people who don't even own properties or have never owned anything in their life. So that one really sticks out just because, sometimes you just have to let people know that you were with them from the beginning all the way to the end. Every hump that you go over, you gotta go over it with them.
Right.
And that was one of those situations because she really didn't think that she had anybody on her side. She didn't know what to expect, and it was never a positive thing until, that discussion happened one-on-one. 2-minute discussion happened one
Yes.
on one. What is your intention? What do you see yourself doing? Do you want to do this? Is this what you want to do? Like everything was focused on her, and it literally changed the entire process. So
And
I feel like that one, out of all the ones I have, probably stick out the most.
I love that example. And I think sometimes it'll highlight the fact that I think I lost you on my other camera, but as long as you can see me, that's all that matters. Sometimes we have to fight that battle with the family, the boyfriend, the spouse, uh, because I don't know, they're short-sighted. We have to change their mindset around home ownership and wealth building, because they've never experienced it. They didn't have a good example. Big Mama had this house forever, and Mom and Dad lived in it. The kids live in it, and sometimes we've got to overcome all of that. And I think the fact that you're diligent in educating those people that um, And if you're like me, it's so interesting. The majority of my clients are females. And the numbers are pretty overwhelming, and I probably won't recite them properly, but to the tune of, I think it's more like 60-40, especially females to males that take the leap into home ownership because they've got a stable job, they're doing well. Some are doing it because they've got kids and or family. Some are doing it because they understand that it's an amazing path to building wealth. And and I feel like sometimes that I'm on that pulpit today, trying to teach people we got to get in the game, and it's time to get off the sidelines because we keep falling further and further behind. And I'll tell you, especially for folks who look like you and I, Black ownership in America is between 42 and 44%, and American whites are to the tune of 72 to 75. And if we don't close that gap, then we will continue to fall further and further behind. So, and again, I know you're doing your part. So keep doing it. Keep doing it. I love
Oh,
it.
thank you so
So,
much.
let me one other question, real quick. How long have you been doing this now?
I in Texas since 2020, so the beginning of
Okay.
2020. So six,
Okay. So
over 6 years.
you've been in it a minute.
Mhm.
Okay. Good. Um, in the next 5 or 10 years, you sold somebody 10 years ago, and they write you a letter, and what do you hope that that letter would state that has absolutely nothing to do with the house? Nothing to do with the house. And my point here is, if you're like me, it would, and not to put words in your mouth, but it would be about you helping them get started on this journey. Um, Maybe memories that were created, just to name a few. Is there something that would come to mind?
Yeah, probably for myself, it was really validate if someone, was to do that and they thank me on actually seeing them as a human being and not just another number or another check at the end of the day, listening to, why they thought whatever they thought and follow them through that journey of not really having me change their mind but just showing them that this is possible. And it's not, I tell people all the time too, like this is not hard. It is not hard to buy anything. Everyone's situation is completely different, and I think that a lot of people use that against them because they see someone else with the house, with everything that they want, and they strive to do or be, and they don't have it. And problem number one, stop comparing yourself to other people. Everyone's journey is
Amen.
different. You don't know what they had to do in order to get to that point. But I mean, if you're going to get to that point or try to somewhere close, you got to start. And I honestly think that most conversations happen authentically, and not as a sales pitch. I definitely don't look at myself as a sales business, just because I like to keep everything very casual, but just as a conversation. And I have been told, actually was told when I first started this business that the way that I wanted to run my business would not work. My first broker told me that I would not survive in this business, because I didn't want to do it, the way that it was instructed, just because I never want to be that person that, oh, this person's calling me, or they get
Hmm.
irritated when they see my number pop up. I don't want to be that person. And so I did everything in my power to make sure that I was not, and that my business was a reflection of who I am every day and not a sales pitch. So, I mean, it's kind of very validating, actually, that everything is working the way it should and it was intended to, just because I believed in it. And that's one thing that you have to do too. You can't give someone else instructions if you don't believe in your own. So it always starts with you. It always starts at the top. And I mean, the biggest lesson I also think that I've learned coming from such a chaotic, unexplainable business, in the entertainment business, is that you have to believe in you first. If you don't believe in that, then nothing else is going to make sense to anyone else. and you don't give anyone else a reason to follow you or listen to you, for help. So, and I do think that's a big step. I also believe that, people need to celebrate their losses just as much as they celebrate their wins. Everything that I have gone through, some things have been challenging, but I talk about that openly, because, people can get reality again confused. And every ounce blood, tear, and sweat that I put in my business so far, it has not been easy, but I didn't
Mhm.
give up. So, I mean, I don't have a problem ever talking or discussing with anyone things that are working for me, if it can help them. I'm a very open book just because I want everyone to succeed in this business. I don't think it needs to be a hair pulling contest at all, and it shouldn't be difficult to talk about our wins and also our losses.
I love that. Um, are you still in contact with that first broker?
Uh, so funny you ask because they sent me a text the other day asking for, coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I usually turn down all those invites anyways. But I mean, it is kind of funny because I don't have anything against him. I mean, if that's what he believed, and cool. But that just gave me more motivation to do what I'm doing now and to, validate myself that this is what I need to do. Like, I feel like this is my purpose. I feel like I am right in my purpose, doing exactly what I was intended to do in this lifetime, is to help people. And I feel good about that. But no, I have not took him up on his offer yet.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like that's my story because it wasn't my first broker, but it was probably my second. And she told me that I couldn't do it. I couldn't join a 100% firm because I wasn't doing a certain level of production. And she is the reason for I think my success because I wanted to do everything in my power to prove her wrong, and I proved her wrong within a month or two. And so I appreciate that. And again, I never saw that as I don't know, negative. I feel like she was the fuel to my fire. She was the gasoline poured on top of me that allowed me to go and do me and be authentically me. Because, like you, she was teaching doing business a certain way, and I realized that wasn't going to work for me. So and I think it just shows you can succeed in this business in so many different ways. And we don't have to just adhere to basic training, especially what they were teaching 3 and 4 decades ago. I mean, business has changed. So I'm glad that you've adapted and you've succeeded at a high level. So I'm sure we don't have much time, and as I keep bouncing from computer to computer. So one other quick question here. So, all the different versions of Braylon, and I'm not sure if I told you, my nephew's name is Braylon. So, one, I'll never forget you. Okay, but I think you have a spirit and a personality that is not easily forgotten. So, keep shining your light, my brother. I appreciate that. With all the different versions, again, the accountant, the event planning, the stuff in entertainment. Um, which one of the versions of you would take over a conversation first? And secondly, which one would uh, quietly end up solving all the problems? Would it be the entertainment side of you? Would it be the realtor side of you? Right? The accountant side of you? Who would start the conversation and who would just take over? And then who would just quietly sit on the sidelines and observe and then answer every question?
Sure. Well, I'm a sponge, so I'm usually not the one to start a conversation. But if someone, starts a conversation with me, I will happily jump in and keep the conversation going. So I'm an observer. Um, Numbers is my comfort zone, as strange and crazy as that sounds. So I guess when it comes to, the hard things that people usually have to write down and figure out, I'm doing it in my head. So, I feel like I'm the same person though. I feel like college me, entertainment me, real estate me is the same person. So,
Okay.
uh, and I'm just a calm person. Like it's so funny too because a lot of people tell me sometimes that they would never think that I'm like just very quiet and reserved. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I tend to myself. I mind my own business, but I mean, at the same time, if you come and approach me, I definitely going to talk to you.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a problem solver. Like I have more solutions figured out than actual things that could keep making something else worse. So I guess that's just my way of thinking. I always go into any situation very leveled and calm to, just assess everything that's going on from both sides before I actually come up with a solution.
I love that. I think it shows that from what I'm hearing, because I put myself in this position, sometimes you have to be adaptable. You have to be a chameleon because people believe that I'm an extreme extrovert, and that is the opposite of truly who I am. I love the fact that when I step in the real estate space, yeah, oftentimes I'm like, all right, let's show begin. Uh, you can start the party because I'm here. But the majority of the times, that's really not me and my personality. I love sitting back and observing and only speaking when I really feel like something, you need to hear something that I've got, right, to say. But that disturbs a lot of people when they see me in that situation. They think something is wrong with me. And I'm like, oh no, this is naturally who I am. And that's just to sit back and observe and make no judgments at all. Just listen. So I'm hearing that you're probably exactly the same way. You
Yeah.
speak when you need to, right?
Right. And I don't talk condescendingly at all.
Yes,
I talk to more of again, I'm a solution type of person. So when I do speak, it is to, give a help a situation instead of, throw out another idea that's doesn't work. Um,
right,
so I mean, I just I like to understand people. I like to get to know people, why someone thinks, the way that they think or why they think that's right. I know it's wrong, but what got them to that point? Because clearly they didn't get there by themselves. And, you know, most of the time it's a reason behind that. And if you
right.
understand that first, then everything else will make sense. And then the problem solving becomes, very easy. And I grew up with, I mean, I'm the youngest of four. I have three older sisters. And my grandmother was very wise, and she taught me growing up, especially something I have taken with me through friendships, through college, through business, is to never offer someone creme brulee and then feed them pudding.
Okay.
So even in relationships, friendships, businesses, don't go into something and to say you can do this and you can do that and you know that you can't because you are trying to to get to a place. You can get to the exact same place, being exactly who you are, not changing anything, about your morality or foundation. Especially when you are trying to get to know people and people are trying to get to know you. So I think that, that has really helped me stay who I am through all these transitions in my life. And that's one of the main things that helped me stay grounded in my business now.
Well, I love that. I love that. Finally, on next Wednesday, um, we've got a production level mastermind, and I'm hosting one group. I want you to be a part, and I'd say probably co-hosted with me. Now it's here in far north Dallas, so if you're free, we'd probably start around 11 o'clock. We'd be done by 12:30. I'd love for you to bring another more insight as to uh, this business. So if you're free, join me. Um, and finally, is there something that I should have asked you that I didn't, that you'd love to let us know about Bralyn and or his business and or who he is or what moves him? Anything that I should have asked that I didn't?
I'm super optimistic. I feel like that's maybe the worst thing about me, to be honest. And again, I
Okay.
don't like speaking about myself, so every time I'm forced to, talk, it makes me uncomfortable. But I mean, I have vision boards. I
Yes.
do three affirmations like every single morning. If you probably walked in my bathroom, you probably think that I was like losing my memory or have onset dementia or something because I have sticky notes everywhere. But I mean, it's just I pass that every day of the day, and it always reminds me of what my goal is. And as crazy as it sounds, everything that I've ever affirmed, put an affirmation out, it has happened. every single thing. And I cannot explain how that works really,
Mm.
except that, if you believe in it and you speak it to existence and see yourself already doing what you write down, the universe will, open those doors and level you to make sure that that can get done. But every single thing I have ever wrote down, especially being in this business in real estate, it has happened. Magazines, conversations, deals, it has happened. So
I love that. All right, give us one affirmation, and then we're out of here because we got things to do, people to serve. Give me one.
uh, let go and let God. You
Oh,
cannot
amen.
control everything, but if you step into faith and you can see yourself doing it and you believe it, no matter what people are saying to you, and you get rid of that negative energy, more in it, there's more good energy out here than negative. So if you can see yourself doing it, it'll happen, and you have to believe that.
I love that. Now, is that a Southern, um, I don't know, affirmation? Because I don't hear many that aren't here in the South say it, but I feel like we say it,
It's a
especially in our
very South
community.
Carolina affirmation for sure. Yeah.
Right? Let go, let God. I love it. I love it. Well, look, man, I appreciate you blessing us, even with the craziness of my computers today, and being at my house. I don't know what the issue is, but that's something I got to get solved. So thank you so much. And again, do check your schedule because it's next Wednesday. Um, I'll help you overcome some of that shyness. I think if we're up there together, that way we can lean on each other and learn from each other, and that's what excites me. So, thanks for blessing us today.